Get started. Welcome everybody to the Safe Routes to School Task Force for the City of Santa Rosa. This is a collaboration between the Sonoma County Safe Routes to School program, all the school districts within the City of Santa Rosa, City Transportation and Public Works. Law enforcement has also been invited. I believe somebody from the Santa Rosa Police Department will be here, but perhaps there was something that came up last minute. The Department of Health Services and members of the public. So parents, teachers, principals are welcome to Zoom in or come in person as well. So we really appreciate you being here. The purpose of the task force is to bring us all together to share what we're doing, and also to raise concerns or issues in our districts, and then be able to collaborate and identify opportunities for improvements and for collaboration and for funding and all kinds of things that can come out of this collaboration. So we're really looking forward to it. This is our first public meeting, and this is my first hybrid public meeting that I'm running. So please, a little bit of grace for me. I just want to kind of make sure that those of you on the Zoom can hear me. If you can hear me, maybe just raise your hand, I suppose, and let me know. Oh, great. Introductions, we'll start with introductions. So we'll start with introductions around the table. Task force members are district leadership, we consider, or city, the representatives that are considered members of the task force. So we'll introduce them, but then any members of the public. Since there's just a small group, I'd love to just hear who is here so we can make a record of who has made it today. So I'll start with myself. Again, I'm Christina Panza. I'm the director of the Safe Routes to School program for the Sonoma County Transportation Authority. I work for the Sonoma County Bicycle Coalition, and we'll go to my left to
Hi, I'm Alexander Oceguera. I work for the City of Santa Rosa. I'm the active transportation planner.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sarah Hadler. I work for the Sonoma County Bicycle Coalition Safe Routes to School coordinator, and I'm the note taker today as well as participating.
Good morning, everyone. Michael Kellison, superintendent of the Bellevue School District.
Good morning, Amy Jones, superintendent of Lincoln Valley School District.
Hi, Amy, nice to meet you.
Good morning, Lisa Saxon, superintendent, Wright Elementary School District.
Hey everybody, Jessica Peterson. I'm the safety coordinator for the Roseland School District.
Hi there, I'm Laurel Chambers. I'm with the Department of Health Services. I'm the lead for the Healthy Eating Active Living team for the county, and I previously worked and still work on the Vision Zero program, as well as the CalFresh Healthy Living program.
I don't know that we can hear members of the public on a mic. Dana, how should we do that? Anyone?
I'll pass the mic around.
Okay, great. Just let us know your name and if you're a parent or why.
All right, I'll start off. I'm Dana Troy with the Sonoma County Transportation Authority, and I work closely with Christina on the Safe Routes to School program and contract.
Hello, Tarina Wilson. I'm the transportation planner with the City of Santa Rosa.
Chris Gunther, co-lead of Bikeable Santa Rosa and also a parent.
Adam Garcia, data analyst with SCTA, our CPA.
Hi, I'm Kate Davenport. I'm just a parent. My kids go to Hidden Valley Elementary.
And I'm Danielle. I work with Safe Routes to School. I'm the lead educator.
Thanks so much, Dana. Does anybody have any comments that they wanted to make that aren't related to something on the agenda before we get started? Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to allow Alexa and the two people on the Zoom to introduce themselves. Thanks for reminding me.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm Alexa Forster, one of the co-leads of Bikeable Santa Rosa and Santa Rosa City Schools and Lincoln Valley Unified School District parent.
Hi, everybody. My name is Elizabeth Crane, and I'm also a parent. I am a parent of 2 kids who go to Sequoia Elementary.
Awesome. As I was saying before, was anybody wanting to make any comment related to something that's not on the agenda before we get started with sharing? Okay, well then I will start. The first item on the agenda is the Safe Routes to School program report. So that is me. Danielle, if you could give me the screen sharing access. Thank you so much. I'm gonna share my screen and my presentation. Welcome back to the task force. I wanted to update you on the status of Safe Routes to School. As everyone here probably knows, the Safe Routes primary goal is to increase the number of families who utilize active and alternative transportation to and from school and in their neighborhoods. We're funded through the One Bay Area Grant and the Go Sonoma Measure and Transportation Tax. And as Dana was saying, SCTA is our lead, is the administrator of the program and the funder, and the Bike Coalition is the lead implementation agency. And we serve more than 60 schools countywide. In the little packet that you have, and those of you who came, there are some extras over there. There's just this infographic. I shared it last April when we had our planning meeting, and I'm not going to go through it right now, but I just want you to know it's a great little infographic about the benefits of Safe Routes to School that you can reference anytime. It's particularly beneficial when Safe Routes programs involve collaborations between the schools, the city, law enforcement, program providers. That is what this task force intends to do. So wanted you to know about that. I want to share the enrolled sites for 2023 in Santa Rosa, city of Santa Rosa. We have 23 schools that are enrolled in the program in the city and 4 in the unincorporated areas this year. Schools do need to apply each year to be in the program between March and August to receive services, and we customize the services to each school based on our capacity and their needs. The schools in blue text are new this year, so we have quite a few new schools that enrolled this year and are participating in the program for the first time. We're really excited about all the schools in the city that are participating this year. In the beginning of the year, and what we're doing right now is we are collecting data. So part of the Safe Routes program is to evaluate what the state of travel is at every school that we work with. So actually next week, we'll be sharing all those comprehensive schools on that list. We'll be asking students how they get to and from school so we can get transportation data about how people walk, bike, carpool, take the bus, how many are taking single family vehicles. And we have this little bar chart on the left for every school participating. So we have that data. And so again, the schools will be collecting that on that list that you just saw. The schools on that list will be collecting that data in the month of September. And at the same time, we're collecting addresses from all the comprehensive schools so that we can do a GIS map showing where students live in relation to the school to know the percentage and number who live within the quarter mile, the half mile, the 1 mile, and the 2 mile radius of the school. And then we can compare that data. We can look at how many kids are living within that quarter or half mile easy walking, biking distance, and versus how many are actually walking and bicycling to school. We can also use the maps to identify meetups, potential meetup spots for walking and bicycling. The city could potentially use it to identify areas of priority for improvements, what possible walking routes could be or what biking routes. So this is data we collect with all of those comprehensive schools that are available to anyone who is looking for that. So that's being collected now. And what we did last spring, another piece of data and evaluation that we do is occasionally we do parent surveys. Last spring, we did a parent survey countywide. We had a pretty good response in Santa Rosa. We had 627 responses in the city of Santa Rosa. I just pulled out, there's a lot of data to unpack from the parent surveys, but some of the interest, a few things that I pulled out to share with you all is that of the people that responded, 55% of those respondents drove their kids to school in single family vehicles every single day. 15% walked every single day, and 1.5% biked every single day. And then in terms of barriers, unsurprisingly, this again, there's a lot of data here, but unsurprisingly, 67% of the respondents stated that concerns about vehicle traffic, busy roads, unsafe drivers, absence of infrastructure is the most significant concern for why they're choosing not to walk and bike to school. But we also evaluate a number of other concerns, and this data can be shared and you can take a look at it and analyze it further for yourselves. A few other takeaways from the parent survey is that more than 80% of the parents agreed that walking and bicycling is important for their child's health. 68% of parents wish that walking and bicycling is something they did more often. And the top reason why parents said they would walk and bike with their family or would consider it was that it encourages an active, healthy lifestyle. So that's just really good to know as we message, like, why are we walking and bicycling? Why is it important? It's because it's healthy, it's active. And another reason, actually, the second most popular reason was because it's fun. I thought that was interesting. Another thing that I wanted to share about our parent survey that was really useful to us is the number of parents who were interested in safe routes to school. In Santa Rosa alone, 85 parents checked and indicated that they want to help identify traffic safety issues at their school. 24 parents said they wanted to help organize a bike train. 18 said they wanted to help organize a walking school bus, and 30 parents said they wanted to help volunteer at their school. And this is just of the responses we got, those 627. If we had gotten more responses, I'm sure we would have had even more interest from parents in being involved with Safe Routes to School. So let's just go on to parent services, and I want to share some information about what we have going on right now, especially for the parents and also the district representatives who might want to be engaging with this in their district. Our program services are there's a lot. We do walk and bike and carpool encouragement support, and we've got events which I'll share in a minute. We do education at 4th grade, 2nd through 5th grade. We do middle school. We even do a little bit of high school. We do community education and outreach. We do community classes like Learn to Ride. I'll share those in a minute. This little flyer in the corner, it's at the back of your packet, is sort of a back to school piece that schools can send out, especially new schools that haven't engaged in the program, to inform parents about what their program is that they're going to be implementing at their school. So that's just a piece that we created. So right now it's about to be September. Our very first challenge of the year is a Map Your Route to School challenge. I love that yesterday I got an entire class set of maps from a teacher at Lincoln Elementary School who had engaged with their students about mapping their safe route to school. We really encourage schools and districts to share our challenges. They're intended to engage students in understanding how to be safe and walking or biking more. It's a way to have equity, to allow students to participate in the program, whether or not they are able to walk and bike to school. And whether they're walking or biking to school or to another destination, just thinking about how to be safe and why to walk and be active is a great thing. So this challenge is available. We sent it to all of our participating schools, all of the collateral to promote it. Every school receives that. And that's going out. That went out in mid-August, so schools are sharing it now. And then in October, we have International Walk and Roll to School Day. Registration is open for it right now. Again, most of our enrolled schools, if not all of our enrolled schools, will be participating in this event. Most on October 4th, a few will be celebrating an alternative date, which is fine. You know, I think Wright District usually does it on a Friday. And we give them a poster with a blank space for the date, and then they can put in their own date. So registration's open now. We already have 50 schools registered countywide. I expect it's going to be one of our bigger years because usually, you know, I still have another couple of weeks before registration closes for this event. And schools that register will get pencils, posters, stickers, and technical support if they need it to put on a great event. A lot of schools do walking school buses and bike trains and all kinds of stuff for this day. Another thing just to be aware of is that Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day is in November. We've already put out the registration for this because it is through AAA. AAA kind of sponsors the event, and they send swag kits out to schools that register. And there are some grant opportunities available for this event. AAA has a grant up to $750 to support Ruby Bridges Walk and Roll the School Days. Santa Rosa, the city of Santa Rosa, has a diversity, equity, and belonging mini grant program, which I haven't read the grant application, but I believe it would apply to doing a day of diversity related to Ruby Bridges. So I think anyone in Santa Rosa could look into this grant if they want to support their Ruby Bridges event. I know last year there were schools that bought books on Ruby Bridges and books on, you know, the civil rights movement, and they bought, you know, snacks and all kinds of cool stuff for their event. And one of the schools bought t-shirts for all their kids. And so there's a lot you can do with funding for Ruby Bridges Day. And there's a lot of cool activities you can do around it too. There's a curriculum guide that AAA put out, or the Ruby Bridges Foundation put out. So that's really cool. So that's happening now. Register for that soon, if not already. Okay, so we are also encouraging, as I mentioned with Walk and Roll to School Day, we really encourage school sites and parents to form meetup spots and for walking school buses and bike trains, because safety in numbers is a thing. And we find that when schools have a walking school bus or a bike train, more kids walk and bike, especially on event days and, you know, even outside of that. We have developed some resources for schools and districts to share to try to help us identify who potential bike train leaders might be, and also to train bike train leaders to be safe. We have a survey called Be a Bike Train Leader that we encourage schools and districts to share so we can try to identify those potential leaders. And we are having a webinar next Thursday on how to start a bike train for any parent who's interested in doing that. And we'll teach you all about it and all about what parents have done and how to be safe. Community-wise, we are doing Learn to Ride a Bike classes in Santa Rosa once a month on Wednesdays. We're also having a free family bike workshop on Saturday, September 9th, the Santa Rosa French American Charter School. That is a workshop where we take parents and kids on the road and ride with them. And as schools and districts can host these workshops, we are looking for hosts for the spring. So that's something that schools and districts that are enrolled in the program can talk to us about. Next, I just want you to be aware that we did some new handouts this year on bike safety, English and Spanish, walking safety, on driver awareness, and on e-bikes. So these handouts are available. They're on our website. We sent them out in the last e-news. All of our enrolled schools have them and can share them. I had one school yesterday in Windsor who told me that they are going to have their middle school students utilize these handouts to inspire them to do a safety campaign. So they're giving them to the students and letting the students run with it. So that's a really cool thing, I thought. And also just letting you all know that we still have our educational PSAs. Danielle's actually our PSA creator, and she collaborates on it, but she definitely is the lead on doing all these PSAs, and they are on the Safe Routes to School YouTube channel and can be shared at any time or when appropriate in advance of an event. You know, winter weather riding is a great one to share before a December or January event, but there's all kinds of PSAs and we continue to add to those. Also letting you know that we do have more task force meetings coming up. September 28th, we're going to have a Southwest Santa Rosa focus meeting. The hope is that the focus area meetings allow us to hone in on a specific district, get parents from that district to participate, or there's more than one district. So the Southwest is Bellevue, Roseland, and then other schools in that area, like there's school in Santa Rosa City schools that are in that area. But all of the schedule for that meeting is in your packet, and for the other two meetings as well. And as this task force evolves, you know, we may discover that we want to do meetings in the evening. Like for right now, this is our fall pilot. We've got 3 meetings scheduled besides this one, and they're during the day. They're going to be all Zoom hybrid options. So hopefully we'll enable, you know, members of the public to participate, even though it's, you know, in the middle of the work day. The last thing I just want to share is just a real quick school snapshot. I will share these in the focus area meetings, but we do snapshots for every school that participates in the program for the following at the end of the year. So this is an example of what we would have at the end of this year for every enrolled school. And so it captures all of the activities that that school participated in, as well as their data. So when we do our focus area meetings for the schools that are in those focus areas that were in the program last year, we'll share this information. That's it for the Safe Routes portion. Does anyone have any questions or comments? And then if not, we'll move on to the next agenda item. Yes.
I have 2 questions actually. The information that you mentioned about the grants that were available, is that information available on your website, or how do we access that?
That's a good idea. I could add it to the October page of the website for international and Ruby Bridges, but we sent it out in our e-news. So we do have a Safe Routes to School e-newsletter. It does go to all of the school site champions, principals and champions, but I don't think any of the superintendents are on our list because they're very site-based, they're like, this is what your site can do. But if you would like to be on the e-newsletter list, just shoot me an email, I'll add you. And then you get all that information. And I can forward you that one e-news so that you have it.
And my second question, just the last one. Oh, my second question is if we have additional schools in our district that are wanting to be part of it, too late? Is there a deadline?
It's not too late. It's too late to get some services. So like the bike rodeo, those have all been determined and scheduled out, the 4th grade bike rodeos. But in order to participate, schools can enroll any time of year. It's just the earlier they enroll, the more time you have to be able to meet with them, share, get information. We're doing school team meetings right now with all of our schools. They're called start of service meetings, where we go over all this and make sure that they're clear, and we make a plan with all the schools. So schools that enroll late, we would just kind of figure it out, as we go along.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Comments? Okay, well, the next item on the agenda is Laurel with CalFresh Healthy Living Support for Safe Routes to School.
Thank you so much. I didn't get my handouts in the packet in time, so there you go. So yes, my name is Laurel Chambers, and I'm with the Department of Health Services, and I lead the Healthy Eating Active Living team, and part of that is supporting the Vision Zero Advisory Committee, and part of that is working on the CalFresh Healthy Living Grant, which you may know as SNAP-Ed, our old name. And our program is going to this year offer to help out with some safe routes to school activities. So the mission of the CalFresh Healthy Living program is to increase physical activity and nutrition amongst the low income CalFresh eligible population. So if schools qualify, if at least 50% of your students are on the free reduced price meal program. I know there's universal meals now, but using the old income verification, that's how we qualify schools. And what we're really looking for are projects that would impact the policy systems and environmental changes at the school. So we can help with, if you want to get safe routes to school or walking, biking policies into your wellness plan, we can help with that. We can also help with nutrition policies as well, as Jessica knows. We worked with Roseland School District in the past, not on safe routes to school, but on other projects. But we can also help with doing things like walking audits and engaging parents. I have a full-time bilingual community health worker that can help with that to kind of identify projects and go out and lead a walking audit to find out where the safety issues are at the school, and help identify those issues that then can get prioritized by the city. We can also come out and paint a playground traffic garden. We haven't done one yet, but that picture there is from my counterpart in Placer County. They used this funding to paint this traffic garden, which is something you can use for your bike rodeos. The kids can practice their bike skills on it, but then the rest of the time it's a playground stencil that can have Foursquare in between and other playground games painted in the kind of the middle sections in between the roads that the kids can practice on. So another option there, but yeah, if you're interested, I would love to have further discussions on what your particular school sites are interested in and how we might be able to help.
Does everybody know what a walking audit is?
No.
No. Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. A walking audit is when a team of school representatives, and often, usually someone from the city and whoever is coordinating will take a walk around the school neighborhood, maybe in the half-mile radius, and take a look at what's going on with traffic and traffic safety, and identify, what some of the issues or barriers to walking and bicycling might be. And usually with a walking audit, you'll identify those concerns, and then also potentially the city could come up with some ideas or solutions for addressing those concerns. And that's a really great thing to do because, you know, that data, we don't have that data for every school in Sonoma County. We have done walking audits in the past through the Safe Routes program. We haven't done that in the past few years because of the way of our funding has worked. But it is a really good thing to do. And it's another way for the city and the schools to be able to collaborate and talk about what their issues are.
That's great when you involve parents as well.
Yeah,
Parents
parents, yeah, even students.
And students, they know, they will point to it.
Yeah.
And so often it's just, you know, our role to take a picture,
Yeah.
make a note,
Exactly.
involve the city. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Laurel.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any questions or comments about what Laurel presented? Okay, well, we'll move on to the city of Santa Rosa. Alexander is presenting and I have his presentation, so I'll be advancing his slide. So Alexander, you just tell me when to advance your slides.
I'll let you know. Alexander Oceguera, City of Santa Rosa Active Transportation Planner. I'm, you know, through our process, what we're trying to achieve is a low stress, comfortable network for everyone, all ages and abilities. And so part of our process is, you know, working with you all folks and trying to figure out solutions and come up with ideas and put them in plans to achieve those goals. So I'm going to go over our active transportation update. Next slide. I'm going to go over what's been constructed recently, projects that are under construction, and then also future ideas and ways you can help out. Okay. Next slide. So a recently completed project is, and you can already go to the next slide, is Armory Drive. We built a cycle track out there, and if you don't know what a cycle track is, it's a protected bike lane that has 2 lanes of traffic for the cyclists. So on one side of the road. So this is from Elliott Avenue to Ridgeway Avenue. And so what it does is it creates a more comfortable, low stress space where in this instance, and you can go to the next slide, we put up these K71s, they're delineators, and we made it so that there's a physical barrier between cars and the cyclists. And then if you think about it, this is also an added benefit to pedestrians, right? Because you don't have to worry about a car being right next to you. So there's multiple benefits to this idea in adding a cycle track or a separated bike lane. Another thing that could be thought of as an added bonus, but maybe not in this instance, is crossing distances. So when you're trying to cross the street, it makes it so that you're not in vehicular traffic as much. If you want, you can play the video. There's a link right there.
Do I have to reshare? Oops. Can everybody see? Oh, no, I can. Nope. All right, I'm going to stop this share and then go to that.
Okay.
Not share. Oops, hold on 1 second. Where's my Zoom?
So this is going to be a video the Bicycle Coalition actually went through and rode. So since it's in proximity to 2 schools, right, we have actually probably 3 schools. So you got Ridgeway, you got Santa Rosa High School, and the Santa Rosa JC. It kind of shows you what we've done to protect the bike lane in and around that school area.
I don't know what's happening, but I can't get back into my Zoom. So I apologize.
Is the idea with that bike track that it would take students off of like the Mendocino then and kind of push them over and make a safer alternative?
Yeah, I mean, so the idea is to have an alternative to Mendocino, and then the other idea is in the future we're going to have a bicycle and pedestrian overcrossing that goes over Highway 101, and with that it'll kind of create a connected network. Also in the future, this is an idea, is to have Elliott Avenue have some sort of cycle track as well, to kind of complete the connection. Because also Elliott kind of leads from the JC into, you know, the commercial type areas.
I think I figured it out. I'm so sorry. But I'm not seeing. Oh, here it is. Ah, sorry, everybody. No, I zoomed, just disappeared the entire screen for. Okay, here's the.
So yeah, this is the area right along the baseball field, Ridgeway, Santa Rosa High School area. It's a separated bike lane. You come to a stop and then you're going down and yeah, you got your two-way cycle track here. So you can ride going either way, northbound or southbound.
Sweet.
We have usage data on how much is being used so far.
We don't have usage data, but that's something we should do in the future. Hopefully with our ATP plan, we can get some kind of usage data. Our ATP plan would be our active transportation plan, which we're planning on working on here in the future. And I'll talk about more of that later.
So will this be, once the community connector bridge is built, is this gonna be sort of like if you're taking the community connector from, if you're living, let's say in the Cottingtown area, and you want to get to Santa Rosa High School, this
would be a good connection.
Yeah, it's a great connection.
Great connection
That's
for that.
awesome.
Yep. And so the hope is on the other side as well. We kind of create that connection in the future through planning and, you know, obviously improvements.
It's going really fast.
I wonder if any.
All right, you can switch back to the PowerPoint if you want.
Alright. Right. Want me to go to the next slide?
Next slide. Yep. So we have projects under construction. So current projects under construction, if you want to go to the next slide. We have a Hawk. I don't know if everybody knows what a Hawk is, but it's a high intensity activated crosswalk beacon. Right now we have one over at Pioneer High School that's in the construction stage. And what it does is it activates once someone presses the button, it activates, obviously the go for the pedestrian with the walk sign, but also before that, it starts to flash. So it throws out a yellow. I don't know if you can see in this picture, but there's, obviously a three-headed signal. So the bottom yellow to get people to start thinking, and it's flashing, and then it goes solid, and then it goes to two red lights, and then a red light that flashes. So it's just a way to, obviously a lot of people I've heard don't understand the concept, but it gets people to slow down, and that's the key, right? Slow down and stop, and because it's a stop controlled feature, they have to stop. Whereas, yeah. You want to go to the next slide, please? So this is a picture of Hawk at Pioneer High School. There's, I believe there's an overhead over the other side as well, but you can't see it in this picture. So that'll take the kids from the high school over to the park. I remember growing up there, I went to school there. We would always just walk across the street. Probably not the best idea. There's heavy traffic there. It's high speeds. So this is a way to help mitigate potential collision issues. Next slide. So other projects in the hopper under construction is our rapid rectangular flashing beacons. Right now we have those on State Farm in Cleveland, Hohen and Sierra Creek, Dutton and Funston, Montgomery and Franquette, Summerfield and Park Trail, Mendocino and Howard, North Dutton and West 8th, Sebastopol and Laurel, Steele and Myers. So that's where they're going to be installed. Right now, we have Hohen and Sierra Creek completely installed, and then partially installed at Sebastopol and Laurel Grove. So that one just needs to, and that's the one in front of Cesar Chavez Language Academy. It needs to have improvements done to the ramps there. But so far, I was actually out at the school recently, talked to the principal, and she says it's already been useful and helpful. to have the RFB and hopefully, you know, we can work towards more improvements like that in and around schools.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
What criteria are used to determine that that's needed?
Yeah, so what we look at is volumes, our high injury network, and
Of pedestrians or cars?
cars. And we also look at volumes of pedestrians as well.
Okay.
So it's a both. Yeah.
And at those critical times of day?
So when we do our counts, we do a count of a full day. So we get the counts for the critical part of the day as well.
Mhm. Okay.
Yep. Next slide. So yeah, this is just a picture of the one under construction at Hohen and Sierra Creek. This one's actually completed now. So I'm excited that more and more of these are going to be going out, and hopefully they'll help with the crossings and helping people yield and creating a more visible crosswalk. Next slide. So upcoming projects, we have a planned cycle track on Santa Rosa Avenue between First and Sonoma. This is going to help with the Prince Memorial Greenway, which is off to the left of the red line. A lot of cyclists and pedestrians I noticed filter out from the Greenway, and I went out there and did a study, and you can see people driving the wrong way on the road on their bicycle, and then not feeling comfortable enough to be in the bike lane and going onto the sidewalk. So it would be another K71 type instance where we have those delineators, an actual physical barrier there, protecting bicyclists and pedestrians to help it feel more low stress and be a better connection to, you know, serving the area. Also with that, we have a project that's in the works to the south. It's the Santa Rosa Corridor project. It's from Sonoma all the way to Maple, and that as well has bike lanes. They're buffered bike lanes, and we're also you know, adding different types of traffic control features to help slow speeds there as well. Next slide, please. So potential pilot projects. So this is the fun stuff. This is where I need you, you know, Santa Rosa City Schools, all the school districts in Santa Rosa to help me come up with pilot projects and potential pilot projects that we could do. My thought process is a lot of our schools around multi-lane roads, right? And if we could try and do road diets and work with schools to come up with solutions, then that would be a way to slow speeds and, you know, help potentially lower collisions, especially on our high injury network and close to schools. I have a 5-year-old. I know what it's like to feel scared of your kids walking around, right? So you always got to be with them. But I hope someday through our work, we can, you know, get to a place where that's not always the case. Next slide, please. So like I said before, one of the things you can do is work through road diets. You can make fun pop-up events, pilot programs, work with schools, you know, try to make it fun by making it artistic. A lot of these could potentially be in places where there are already lower speeds, because some of the ideas I have are in places where there's higher volumes and higher higher traffic volumes. And so the pilot projects where we work with groups, we want them to be in like a more low stress area. Next slide, please. So one of the ways you can do this as well is creating temporary bike lanes. So with temporary bike lanes or things of this nature, like road diets, you shorten the crossing distance for students, again, crossing the street, and it makes it so that the time that they're having to cross, you know, traffic isn't as long. And then you also create a protected area for bicyclists and pedestrians on the sidewalk and also lower speeds in the area. Next slide. So this is a picture of a pop-up as well, you know, really bright colors. You want these things to stand out. You want to get the community involved. So that's the hope in working with you all here and people in the community as well, people at the schools. You know, things that we've been doing recently is we're getting our boots on the ground. We're going out with students and riding some of the with some of the bike buses. Through people like Bikeable, they've contacted us and created connections with family members that are already doing the bike buses and trying to have them help us out and also us help them out by like seeing what the problems are out there and what solutions we can come up with and how we can plan for that in the future. So now I'm going to put in a plug for our active transportation plan. So through our active transportation plan, which was previously called the Bicycle and Pedestrian Master Plan, we, you know, set the groundwork for the improvements that we were hoping to make and create the plan to, you know, do certain things and kind of lay out funding sources for those potential ideas. And through that, I think about 50 to 75%, and that number could be slightly off, of those projects we actually, I think, have completed. So a good portion of what goes into the plan ends up being implemented. And that's one of the emphases of having your support and your buy-in in that process and helping us out along the way so that we can have a plan that implements the things that that we don't know about and that you can help us with. I believe that's all I got. Is there, yeah.
So the picture that you showed of the pop-ups, the idea with those is that would be like a water-based temporary paint to kind of try out the conditions before it becomes like permanent, or?
So it's dependent. Like I've heard that potentially the water-based stuff can be really messy and then end up in our storm drains. So
yeah,
maybe not. It just depends on how well we coordinate that with our stormwater and creeks division.
But like a temporary thing first, whatever it might be, to give people a chance to try it out.
So it'd be a temporary type thing and then you know, implementation after that, depending on surveys. So that's another thing that we would do is we'd have an area. We've talked about A-frame boards or something like that, where you can like scan in a code and then take a survey right there as it's in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen communities do pop-ups for one day, for 1 week. Sometimes like the city can do more of a quick build project that is longer term, but not permanent. And that may be more money, but you know, it kind of the various levels of pop-ups that can happen. And even they can be with city support, they can be even student led. You know, there was a pop-up in Oakland that, you know, high school students did in front of a school with the support of the city. And, you know, so there are definitely great opportunities for collaboration when it comes to pop-ups. And I know the city has somebody to do that. The Bike Coalition might have, you know, abilities to bring in volunteers to assist. You know, perhaps the school community could too. It's just a really great community builder to do a pop-up. So just something to consider, and certainly something to talk about when we do our focus area meetings, because that's hopefully where we'll be able to, you know, focus in on certain areas, if not before. If not before.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions or comments on this agenda item?
Andrew, what's your contact information?
Oceguera, so AOCEGUERA, and then the number 2 at srcity.org.
Thank you. Well, we do not have a representative from the Santa Rosa Police Department here today, so we'll be skipping that agenda item. The next item on the agenda is really just an open forum for district site safety issues, concerns, opportunities. We can talk about pop-ups. You know, you guys can talk about your issues if they're members of the public. want to speak up as well, this is a good time to do that. This is really just a time for collaboration and sharing and coming up with ideas for ways that we could potentially collaborate or issues that you have concerns about. So I'll just leave it open to whoever would like to speak at this point. You can go around too, also maybe do a start with the district update even, if you want to pass, you can, but we could just go, not to put you on the spot, Jessica, but.
No, that's okay. I chatted with my district leadership to see if there's anything kind of off the top of their head to mention at this. And one item that did come up is we do have a school site that's on a road that could really use a crosswalk. We have kind of a natural area where students do cross right in front of one of our school sites, and it's busy, and the students walk across the street to an open space area where they cross into the rest of the neighborhood. And that part is safe, but crossing that one little street is.
Which school?
Roseland Creek.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Sebastopol Road is kind of always our nemesis just because of how busy it gets. And so we have an elementary school there too, especially they just built a Boys and Girls Club, a really cool, option for our students that are going there and, attending these after school programs. But they do have to kind of go down the street and then across and then kind of back around, and it's just busy. It gets busy. So those are kind of our two hotspots right now that off the top of my head. But I'm hearing lots of resources, so that's exciting. I jotted down a lot of notes.
Lisa, did you want to?
I am emailing Andrew right now.
Alexander.
So I brought this up last spring, but I'm gonna kind of keep hammering on it. I've got on Price Avenue, so off of South Wright Road, which is the only street that goes into Wright Charter School, traffic and safety concerns. So there is thankfully a curb now on the north side of Price Avenue that's a little bit helpful. However, there's only one crosswalk on South Wright Road to get people to Price Avenue, but there's not a crosswalk that's lit, marked, clear from the south side of Price Avenue to the north side of Price Avenue to get to where that protected area is for kids to walk. So I have family complaints. I know we're unincorporated. However, we recently partnered with the city around a temporary water connection because we're so stinking close to being in the city limits. And so I'm interested in pursuing another partnership, maybe in this avenue, to be able to address the safety concerns that continue to come up. So one of them is the light. I'm also interested in the temporary bike lane in addition to the curb. If we could get the temporary bike lane markers to help pedestrians and bikes be able to go down that street. And then I have a grandparent actually who is very interested in a speed bump just to slow people down because there's that issue as well.
So Lisa, when you email Alexander, please CC me, because if it turns out there's not the ability to partner with the city, this is exactly what we were talking about before. I would definitely want to connect you with the right person at County Public Works and try to advocate for that to move forward.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Hi there, Amy Jones from Rankin Valley. Definitely interested in doing some of the pop-up events. I'm new to the district, however, gone to Rankin Valley schools as a child and live in the area, but definitely with the lens of specific safety, would love to participate in pop-up events as well as auditing to kind of go around and check out all my school sites for safety. I have a new development that's slated to be done, a housing development in August of 24. And that is right on Highway 12. And it's in between three of my schools, and it's right in front of the St. Francis Shopping Center. So that's slated to bring in about 90 students. So I really would like to work with somebody to audit that whole area as well as all of my sites. So I definitely will be emailing and getting in touch to work on this project. I'm really excited about it.
That's great. And I wanted to mention, we do have funding this year and through this contract with SCTA to have a consultant do some projects to identify barriers. Could be a walking audit, could be developing a safer routes to school map. We have sort of a menu of options. The funding is limited, so part of this task force will hopefully be identifying those priorities to make sure that we're fair and how we're utilizing that resource of the consultants. So, yeah, so, you know, I know that Laurel has the ability to do audits. She wouldn't be able to do Rankin Valley, so maybe Rankin Valley could be an area that we could focus on for that school that you're talking about. So just communicate with me about that and we can kind of agree, you know, when it comes time, I will do that, yeah.
Just a reminder, Michael Kellison, Bellevue School District. Our district is positioned right in the heart of Santa Rosa, and we're bisected by 101. So half of our district is on the east side, half on the west side. And then in addition to that, we have Santa Rosa Avenue that further bisects our district. So our district is currently experiencing sort of unprecedented housing growth. Large scale apartment complexes are being built all along the corridor there, as well as single family housing. As a result of that, what ends up happening is these are individual developments, and there isn't a lot of, in my opinion, there isn't a lot of coordination that's happening between infrastructure and the developments themselves. And so as a result of that, we're going to see these large apartment complexes opening within the next year. And that could have anywhere from, you know, 50 to 100 new students who would then have to cross over Santa Rosa Avenue. And there really isn't, between the school site that they would be assigned to and where the apartment complex is located, they would have to walk backwards to get to the one light that exists and then cross over and then around. So we're continuing to lobby for another form of crossing on Santa Rosa Avenue to get the students from that new complex over to our school sites. We also have some of the other busier spots in town. The Hearn overcrossing is an ongoing challenge for our students in our district. And at this point, I would not have the confidence to tell children or their parents to either walk or bike across Hearn. It just isn't built for that yet. So that's a little bit limiting in terms of the encouraging of some of these projects. Now, I don't want to be a naysayer for everything, because we do have some great programs that are happening, like at Quanah Springs, which is more of a residential area. It's embedded within a neighborhood, and I know there's been some coordination there and helping out. So we continue to look forward to partnerships and looking at ways in which we can continue to find pathways for our students to get to school safely.
Michael, I just wanted to mention that Meadowview is enrolled this year.
That's great.
Which is great. The principal there had been a teacher, assistant principal at another school we work with, so she was very familiar with the program. Although we're not working, none of the other schools yet in Bellevue this year are enrolled. You know, some of the resources that we have available, the schools don't have to have a walk and roll program too. You know, you can share the safety tip flyers, you know, there's the PSAs, we can come to a PTA presentation, we can come to a site council meeting. You know, the program that I shared is enrolled schools participate in it, but we have other options for schools that aren't enrolled, just making sure. I wanted to comment that there's a Elizabeth Crane on the Zoom made a comment. Superintendent Amy Jones said exactly what I'm interested in, as well as a parent with 2 kids crossing Calistoga Road every day over to Sequoia. With the new housing project being completed and road repair in the area, it would be great to have some protected bike lanes, etc. Pop-ups would be a great way to see what would work for Calistoga Road. So
Great. Please get in contact with me. I'd love to have a thinking partner to work through this together.
I see Alexa has her hand up. Would you like to speak, Alexa?
Yeah, thanks. Here, let me go ahead and lower it. A couple of things I wanted to say. I just really appreciated the insight from all of the superintendents and other school administrators that are in the room. A lot of what you mentioned has been on Bikeable's radar. We are an all volunteer group of parents and citizens who just really want to be able to bike around Santa Rosa for transportation and not have to fear for our lives. So that's what's motivating us. And the crossing at Sebastopol on Sebastopol Avenue in front of the Boys and Girls Club, I think, is essential, and as well as Santa Rosa Avenue as all this more housing comes online. And then also, it's already been mentioned, the new housing development in Rincon Valley. I was already thinking there needs to be protected bike lane and then a roundabout or slow crossing at where students would cross to get to Sequoia. I did want to ask Alexander and Tarina, you're in the room, about the active transportation plan, which you mentioned, which is, I believe, going to be formulated over the coming year. Is there a way or a possibility to get sort of a coordinated school component of that would just sort of set out some basic parameters that would kind of be written into policy for all schools? Like, this is what streets in front of all Santa Rosa City schools will eventually look like as the streets get repaired and updated. And is that something that superintendents can advocate for? I just wanted to know if you could speak to that.
Tarina's coming. Thanks, Tarina.
That the part of the scope of that project will include safe routes to school, consideration of how to get students to and from school and home and wherever else they're going. There's not funding at this point to have a dedicated component or like school specific studies. We're interested at some point in doing a safe routes to school plan. We're hoping that we could apply for grants to do something like that, so we could get more granular on improvements for each facility. But it is going to be a safe routes to school will be a very big consideration. And so we'll be working with Christina to do a lot of outreach to all of you and to your principals so that we can get parents to look at this plan, students to look at the plan, because it's, you know, the ultimate goal is a low stress and a connected active transportation network that anybody of all ages or ability can use. And we can't do that if we don't have comments from parents and students.
Yeah, and I will definitely be sharing that information with our enrolled schools and with the districts, because again, not every school is enrolled. So when they do have an opportunity for parents to give feedback, I will let you know about that and create maybe a flyer to make it easy for them to, you know, access the plans. We try to make everything easy for parents and for you to share with parents. I also just wanted to mention, I didn't mention this when I was talking about our parent survey, is that in the parent survey that we did collect comments from parents about what their barriers were to walking and bicycling, and also, you know, their preferred routes. And we did share all that information with the city, and hopefully it will populate, whether it's their active transportation plan or a future more granular safe routes to school plan, which I would love to see. And I hope we all, you know, can, you know, collaborate to make sure that an application in the future for that funding to do that plan would be, you know, well supported, and so we can get that funding. I did not go, I'm so sorry, Patty, I should have allowed you to speak before I
apologize for my lateness today. Lots of things going on around the area. It's like, and I got lost.
Oh.
I'm being honest. So far in the beginning of the year, I haven't really sat down with the admin yet. We're scheduling something with our assistant principals and our principals. I just need to be invited to those identified meetings, and then be able to draw more of the concerns and items that we want to bring to this table. So that opportunity hasn't yet. I'm not a superintendent, I'm just a little nobody.
It's okay. Well, that's why we have the focus area meetings. There's going to be more opportunities to share. And of course, you can always, you know, email me and send me information. I mean, even on the agenda, I said, if there are people that have concerns before or right after a meeting, please let me know. We'll collect that information and communicate it with the city. So this isn't the only opportunity to share that information. Thank you for being here, Patty. Does anybody else have a concern or an opportunity or a suggestion or an idea that you'd like to share? Anyone in the, yes, come on up, and there's a microphone. Grab one. You can sit on that chair if you'd like.
Hi, I just didn't know, I have a concern in the Main Street by our elementary school that I guess is kind of like a walking audit. I've noticed when I moved into the area 2 years ago that it's a bit of a hardship to be able to cross a road because you have a street cross sidewalk one way, and then it crosses over, but it's right at a T intersection of Sinead and Montecito Meadow. And I didn't know if that's something to bring up at the district focus meetings
I
in
think-
December then, or?
It's fine to bring it up here, and then if you wanted to bring it up again there.
Okay, I've reached out to the school itself to see if this has been addressed or anything, and they've just kind of said, please come to these meetings. And so I like to, I guess, be a representative for that, because it is the biggest problem I find with it, having that break there, even though there is a bicycle lane that continues, there is no barrier for it, and it's a very, no one speeds down on that. So it goes around a curve. So like when I go with my daughters, I do not walk to school because it's very much a mad dash across the road to try to get to the other side safely and then continue the route. And it just doesn't seem worth it to me. And I do notice other bikers choosing to kind of be more on the sidewalk, do that cross, and then continue up the way as well.
So
So
you're talking about Hidden Valley, right?
yes, right at the Hidden Valley Elementary. So that Sinead Road, if you kind of continue up, like you're heading towards Fountain Grove,
Right.
it's there's a large neighborhood, the Montecito Meadow area, and they'll walk there, but right there is when it has that break, which I don't know what it may need. But I do feel like it would need something that might open up more areas for walking to school, or just providing a safe space to be able to bike and continue that, because it's very quiet on the pedestrian side of it, because I think there's those breaks.
Or Alexander or Karina, do you need more information?
Yeah, I mean, if you want, you could just try to email me and
May I?
Yeah, and
That's
then
great.
that way I can get like a complete idea of where exactly
know.
you're talking about. I'm just trying to look it up right now on my computer to see the exact situation and see what improvements might need to be made.
Sure.
Yeah, and
Okay,
also,
great.
I mean, if it helps you in terms of an email, you can also email me. I'd be happy to go down, meet you, take some pictures and help support Alexander in having that information,
you.
whatever is helpful to you to be able to communicate that to us.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Sorry, I'm a
Yeah.
nervous speaker.
Okay, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
you.
Are there any other comments or questions? We may be able to wrap things up a little bit early if that's the case. No? Chris, did you want to say? No? Okay, all right, no problem, no problem at all. Well, the only other announcements I wanted to make were, again, that yes, schools can still enroll in the program. All of the information that I shared, the educational handouts, the resources for September's challenge, the resources for the October challenge, they are on the Sonoma Safe Routes to School website, sonomasaferoutes.org. If you go onto that homepage, the very first article on the homepage is our September challenge. Everything that kind of goes out in September is linked in the resources. So the challenge sheet, the flyer, the little back to school, parent flyer, the educational handouts are in a different area. They're under education, and then there's an educational handout section. And then if you scroll down on the homepage, you'll see the October challenge and all the resources we have available for promoting International Walk and Local School Day are up on the October page. And we'll update. November will be up there, and not up there yet, but it will be up there fairly soon. And we email all our school partners in the middle of the month for the following month's challenges for information. So schools were emailed last week about the September challenge, and all those resources I mentioned, they all received those directly in an email. And then again, in mid-September, we will be emailing them about October, et cetera, et cetera. So if, again, you'd like to be on the e-news list so that you're seeing those emails, you're welcome to be, although again, it's a lot of information and you might not want to process it, but someone else at your district might want to. So, great. Well, The next meeting is at the Bellevue School District. Michael, it can be you are gonna be able to host a hybrid meeting, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. And do you need our support for that, or do you have somebody at the district that
I
can?
think we can handle it.
Okay, great.
But I'll let you know.
Okay, so that'll be at 10:30 on September 28th at the Bellevue District. And obviously, if you're not having a school in the Southwest Santa Rosa area, you don't have to attend that meeting, but of course you're welcome to, because it's just another opportunity for us to collaborate and talk and come up with ideas and share information. And we appreciate all of you that were here today. So thank you so much. I'm gonna say goodbye to Alexa and Elizabeth. I'm gonna close down the Zoom unless you have something else to say. And Danielle, I don't know if you want to save the chat comment. I don't know if that's automatic.
My apologies for calling.
And Lisa, if you want, like, again, I didn't call it. I put something else. I'll